What's good? I see you. Thank you guys for coming. It's been a long week. It's been a pocket full of shrooms. I see you. Uh, you know, getting back into the grind of school and all that. It's been a long week. We got a good one for you today. Hey, check out this mug, everybody. I won't say where I got it, but the person I got it from's name rhymes with Schmreeze, and you know, this goes to show when somebody sends me something, I don't sell it. I keep it. Shout out to Breeze. Uh, he just did a cool live with Splinter yesterday. If you guys haven't seen it, go check it out. It was cool. What's up, Raymond? It's doing. So we'll let some people get in here and we'll get to this. We got a lot going on this week and it's been a long week. It's been a lot of phone calls. Shout out to the men that I've talked to this week. Some legends in there. That's pretty cool. Iced out Rolly, hey man, it looked like there was a little bit going on, you know, like they were on a 6 run, as Elwood would say. I'm just going, and shout out because I've been on 6 runs on and off my whole life, bro. So that's not digging at anybody. That's just it's good old fashioned fun right there. Good old fashioned Kern County fun for sure. What's up, Hazy Town? A lot going on in Canada right now. All right, well, we'll talk about that first then. So the thing with feast, if you guys, I talked about it a little bit. The VP of Quebec charter up there uh, went missing, and he had a meeting with somebody who was like a top dog in a different organization, non-motorcycle club organization at a hotel, and another person, and that's the last time anybody really saw him in public. I think they found his car, not his bike, his car near a park, abandoned, and then like 2 dudes are on the video cam, the surveillance cam at his house, trying to light that puppy up, and they threw 8 bottles of shine up into that house, trying to send it, to the upper room, send the house to the upper room, basically with Feast's son, I think, and wife in the house, which is crazy work. Crazy work. And I was talking to somebody, and there's been a lot of bust up there lately. I'm not going to tie this to that. I'm just making an observation, if you will. There's been a lot of bust up there lately. A lot of weight has been seized in warehouses and storage facilities and things like that. And these are, you got to take it for what it is with the Canadian media and government, because they tie everything. They say Hell's Angel in anything that they can. If the guy they arrested was seen 4 years ago talking to a Hell's Angels member at a gas station, they try to link them together, and then they'll put it in the news media. Associate of Hell's Angel arrested for blah blah blah, right? So you got to take that for what it is. But they in the media have tried to tie some of these busts of illicit medicine, street medicines, huge numbers too, to the Hells Angels. And I mean, you start playing with people's money, or you get busted holding it, you probably still owe that, right? I'm not going to say that's a part of it, but it's a working theory number one of the day for sure. So anyway, they try to take out his whole family, which is wild work. Now, from what I understand, the Hells Angels have that family secured and tucked away somewhere. So whatever's going on, I mean, obviously for them to get him because he's missing, somebody got him, and for them to get him, they didn't see it coming, or else he would have been way, way more protected. Working theory number two of the day, and I hate to speculate, but my mind works like this, right? He was there in a non-official capacity in that meeting and wasn't supposed to be at that meeting talking to that person. And maybe a backdoor move was going on. I don't know. We'll find out as it all comes out, but it's crazy when somebody, that is Marty Robert's right hand man right there. So somebody like that comes up missing, man. It's take notice. Toronto 81 and Quebec are not getting along, Hazy Town says. See? Well, and there you go. I mean, we've seen, and I'm going to talk about this in a second. We've seen inner charter beef, inner club beef, turn into deadly situations. We've seen this happen before. As recently as the Fresno, Sonoma, Salem, thing that went on with Rain Man and John and Ray Ray. And for them, so there's more clarity coming out on what's going on with that. It looks like allegedly, probably, Robbie Huff's wife may have been working as an informant for the FBI. I don't know if she was then or just after he went missing or whatever. And she's the one who came forward to the FBI or whatever and told them that Robbie had told her that he took out Doughboy. The judge hears this. Now they're having an evidentiary hearing, and they're going to lay all of that evidence out there. They're going to put her on the stand, the FBI agents on the stand, to find out when they knew about it, because if they knew about it beforehand, it's all bad. If they knew about it beforehand, I could see this being thrown out and overturned. If they didn't know about it, which they're going to claim they didn't, but who really knows, new trials are coming on just this evidence alone, because it's what they call exculpatory. Basically, it is a theory that the defense could have used in that trial to show that their defendant did not do what the government said that they did. So, Hazy Town, I'm not gonna put that on him. Shout out to Nurgit. That's a real one right there. And for a very long time. And he's been through a lot when it comes to that club. That dude has been through it all. So you see the video of St. Choice getting pulled over in Quebec. Are you talking about when the tires had tar on it or whatever, and Harley was saying we need to spin out so that, not for nothing, I think that was the same time that old boy came up missing. Not going to put it on Harley or Satan's Choice by any means, but it's a good alibi if you're in a different area doing burnouts to where the cops have to come and talk to you when somebody, car gets parked at a park and the guy goes missing. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm not, hey, if so, kudos Harley, bro. That's how you do it. If that was the move that was made, I'm not going to put that on him like that. But sitting back speculating, just theories, it would be a good move. It's very ironic that at the same time that happened, Harley's over here making sure that the cops are on him, bro. He's like, let's all do burnouts for 5 minutes right now and let's get these cops here. Then old boy comes out the hotel, Feast comes out the hotel and goes missing. If so, y'all better watch out, because that is high level thinking right there. Plotting and planning. That's some high level shit right there. You know, if Harley's got that in his playbook, I'd leave him the fuck alone. They had tar on their wheels. Yeah, they did. Hey, did you guys see? So we'll keep it Canadian right now. Did anybody see Willy Lop Lops interview that he did with? She seemed like a lovely lady. Um, she could definitely stand to eat a cheeseburger, maybe stop 10 to 2 in a little bit. I don't know. I'm not going to say for sure that that's what she's doing, but you know, a tweaker knows a tweaker, man. And I've done dope before in my life and been around a lot of tweakers. And I'm just saying, she exhibited all of the telltale signs of living that life. And I don't get it. How do you have Bishop on your channel and then turn on him and then bring this lady on and do this weird thing where she's like, "Oh, I don't know. I was at work when Bishop's house got raided, and then Bishop and Amy went after that kind of weird stuff." Go watch the interview. Very weird stuff. Very weird. Uh Shout out Willy Lop Lop, boy. He'll just interview anybody. He goes after it though. He's a go-getter. Guy's got ambition. Causing a distraction is now considered genius? No. Well, it's not so much a distraction as an alibi, right? A distraction would have been somebody telling Feast, "Hey, look over here," while bow. You know what I'm saying? So that's two different things. He was securing an alibi. The way he did it is smart. I won't call it genius, but it takes a level of thinking to be able to pull that off. Again, ironic. Yeah. Uh, so, has anybody seen? I've been seeing online a lot lately. Sons of Silence New York patches, and any of the Sons that are out there, get at me in the background. Let me know if that's a real thing or if this is just because some people are calling it fake, some are calling it AI. Now I'm seeing more and more of them. I mean, there are portions of New York that are pretty much softened up or opened up or almost pretty much wide open. And save for the pagans being there. You know what I'm saying? Like Walsh Mill. I mean, if anybody wanted to go open up in that area, who's going to stop them? Basically, Tom and the pagans. That's it. And you know, from what I'm seeing Sons New York bottom rockers now, which is crazy. Hey, thanks for that Unk alert, uh, Big Lock Joker. I appreciate that. What's up, Stan? Chrissy, good morning or afternoon, depending on what part of the country you're in. So get at me, Sons. I'll either tell the world is bullshit or co-sign on it and say, yeah, that's happening. But it'll be interesting to see. It's going to be a crazy summer in a lot of places in the U.S. when it comes to the biker scene. Things are really building, and in the background, they're going crazy. Sons don't have beef with 81, I believe. No, no, because they coexist basically in Colorado, and I haven't heard of much going on between those two in Colorado. Uh, it would be smart of the Hells Angels since the Wallkill charter folded. Basically, if another club that they're friendly with decided they wanted to move into that area, then basically the Hells Angels, by saying, yeah, sure, move into that area, uh, puts pressure on the pagans and takes away any culpability if something happens from the Hells Angels. So it would be smart to do. Neckbeard. Yeah. All right. Hey, what's up, Big Rob Sacto? Corrupt with that forehead. I'm telling you right now. Shout out to Insane Throttle Hollywood, absolutely. Uh, Black Dragon, absolutely. Mike Ball, absolutely. Yeah, I'll shout out Rolling Free TV, definitely Bob and Biker News Canada, and Crusher's doing this thing over there on his channel too. So we'll just miss me with one because he's like you know, he thinks his loyalty goes too deep when it comes to like the YouTube shit, right? And I'm talking about Big Kaz here. I'm just gonna so that there's no speculation who I'm talking about. Big Kaz went on like Willy Lop Lops channel in Hollywoods, and that's all he'll ever do, which is fine. But I think it would be better for him to like, you know, if you're trying to start a channel, I don't know. Maybe don't block a guy when he says hello. A little salty, but I don't really care. At the same time, it was kind of a lame thing to do, but whatever. You do you. I got a hat today. That's what's up, Corrupt. Did you guys see there was a hailstorm in Sturgis? And God, I was even gonna look up the channel on YouTube, the guy that I watch, Baggers or something Baggers maybe. I know Baggers is in the name, and he's from like Buffalo or something, and he's popping wheelies through this hailstorm basically, and all these people like me basically that can ride but don't really ride a whole bunch. Uh, were dumping their bikes, all kinds of crazy stuff going on. So, I mean, hey, just because it's what, August, should it even a hailstorm? Well, tornadoes bring hailstorms, so I guess. Are the bikers really going to Michigan? Up North Bullies wants to know. Listen, they're going to Michigan as much as they went to Denver when they took over the apartment complex in Aurora, Colorado a few years ago, and everybody said, "Oh, the Hells Angels are on their way to take care of." They didn't, and they're not. Listen, these clubs are way smarter than let's all just ride together to Michigan and start thumping on folks in that area because of what they're doing. Should they? Only God can tell us that. But at the same time, they're not going to. You're not going to see ever. It's like the whole thing with the kids with the pink hair up in Seattle and Portland area. Not going to say their name on here. The brat kids that took over a block of Seattle for a week or a month or whatever. And everybody said the Hells Angels are going to come. No, they're not. No, they're not. The old Hells Angels probably would have, but the newer Hells Angels, they're not. And it's a different time. It's a different day and age. It's a media. Everybody's got media on their phone. Everybody has the ability to push live, go live on their phone. And I mean, would it be cool? Probably. I mean, shit, it'd be entertaining to watch it for sure. Joker Smoker, salute to you. Thank you for sending that donation, by the way, man. You don't understand how much that helped. And I appreciate it a lot. Corey retracted, whatever. Oh, I got a hold of, well, not got a hold of. Corey Harrison from Pawn Stars has a podcast now. You guys should all go check it out. It's pretty crazy, actually. And I commented on one of his things, and he's like, "Hey, if you ever want to come on the show, hit me up on my email." And I'm thinking about doing it because his brother was a well-known member of a club from Vegas, and he recently passed a few years ago. And I think it'd be worth just the Vegas aspect of it, going and doing Corey Harrison's podcast with him. It definitely. I mean, it's the Vegas thing right there, And somebody got at me in my email and said, you need to change your name from Vegas Profile Stories because you don't do nothing on Vegas no more. And I'm like, yeah, that's true. But I mean, you go with what works, first of all. And second of all, I've told a lot of the good stories out of Vegas. If you guys haven't seen them, you should go onto the videos section and scroll all the way down. And I did some bangers on like oh, the Binion, Teddy Binion going to the upper room and all of that, right? So yeah, you guys should check that out. We were up here in Sturgis. Yeah, it was bad hailstorm. Hey, what were the cops doing up there too in Sturgis this week? Because I haven't seen anything crazy go on. So it seems like they've let off the clubs a little bit. And the presence wasn't as large as the years before. Like I said, they were at USA Run the week before, so it's not like a lot of them probably ready to go home. A lot of them are getting older and just don't got time for that bullshit. What's up, Blaze? Are you? No, you're not. 831. Probably not Blaze from Vegas, right? If you are, what's up, Blaze? If you're not, what's up, Blaze? So anyway, the bikers going to Michigan. Man, I wouldn't put anything into that. That is not real. Miranda, thank you. You didn't have to send that, Miranda. Thank you. I appreciate you. Big Rob. Yeah, somebody said biker. Look, I got 42,000 or so subs right now. I'm not rebranding my entire thing. It's Vegas Profile. It's VPS till the wheels fall off. We're not changing nothing, bro. But I do still do stories from Vegas and stuff like that. I don't know. It's whatever catches my eye, whatever's interesting. If you haven't noticed, my get down is the interesting cases or stories that are going on that kind of have a little twist to them, maybe, or they're not just open and shut cases or stories. I like that stuff. It's because in my mind it's interesting to me, and then I just make a video about it, put all that time in, and it's working out on YouTube. It's actually something I never thought I would be able to do or set out to do, you know? Sorry, the meat missile's over there barking. Probably at a cat. I don't see nothing out there. Anyway, so I'm very blessed in that I get to just do this, right? So I'll do the stories as they come. Now let's get to the one. Wilmington. I've talked a little bit here and there about Wilmington and the things going on with Wilmington. You have a member that that left and then was put out bad or whatever. Now is joining Satan's Choice in the area. Things like that, right? Just little stuff. They're talking inside their charter, and it getting back to the legend that they were talking about. That kind of shit going on. And a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago or so, the secretary of Wilmington left the club. Now, Nick, the former prospect, who's has the FH or FAHQ Wilmington 81 TikTok, right? And Nick went on Willy Lop Lops channel. He's put out a lot about them. Obviously, he's taking it personal when it comes to them, and he's made it his mission just to air them out. So I've kind of been talking here and there with Nick in the background, and it seems like he said that Diamond Dan's stepson told him that they thought the secretary was maybe a member of law enforcement or working under the capacity for law enforcement, but he couldn't prove it. And it's Nick's stance that everybody in the club has known that this secretary, Irish is what they call him, who was a former Baca VP for 10 years, which shout out to Baca. I love what they do. I support everything that they do. But when it comes to the 1% stuff, they do work with law enforcement or court systems or CPS, all of that, right? They have to. It is a part of their mission. So I'm not shitting on them one bit. I think what they do is awesome. But so this guy was president of Baca for 10 years, joins the Hells Angels in a different state, and everybody kind of was getting copy vibes off of him, right? Well, now this new kid has come along online, of course, and he states, and he's not in the biker world at all. He's more, in that street life kind of dope sales, things like that. He's at a trap house that gets raided a couple months ago in Beaufort County, North Carolina. And the way he came at it was, I never forget a face. That was one of the members of the task force when they raided the trap house. So now we have this kid stating that basically he was arrested by, allegedly, this secretary, former secretary of the Wilmington Charter. If that comes out to be factual, then we're talking a task force agent infiltrating a charter of the Hells Angels and becoming, having a seat at the table. So I'm definitely just in overdrive working on getting all the paperwork from this kid's arrest, things like that, right? But he swears, he's like, I never forget a face, especially if somebody wearing a badge when they raid a place I'm in. That guy is the guy who arrested me. Swears on it. It's wild. So I'm talking to Nick. First off, that you already have so many issues going on in Wilmington, and now this just adds another layer of the sergeant should have known. He should have been on top of that. Who's doing the background checks, things like that. The sergeant, I think, has only been a member for like a year or two at the most. I think he was like a year member when he became the sergeant. So I don't think that he was a part of pulling that paperwork. But bro, you inherit somebody else's bullshit. You still got to take care of that bullshit, clean up that charter, man. That charter's looking bad right now. Really bad. Yeah. Stan. Yeah. I mean, Willy Lop Lop. Yeah, easy, Frank. We all know who Willy is. Shout out Willy. I'm gonna call him Willy Lop Lop till that fool blocks me, and and lets me speak to him at least on the channel. Like, hey, sometimes I go in there. I'm like, hey, that's a cool ass interview you're doing, right? Just want to give him flowers. That little shit blocks me, and then he unblocks me when he goes on Mike Ball's comments so that he could comment. He can see my comments, but I can't see his. That's a weird thing to do, bro. Weird. And he'll come in and answer me sometimes when I'm commenting on something completely different in Mike Ball's thing and then block me again. Stop that, Willie. That's female. That's female as fuck, bro. What is wrong with some people's kids, man? I'm telling you. Wild work. And I think that's what bothers me. Full just weirdo. Scotty Van Gogh. Bro, the investigation process of your channel is admirable. Thank you. I try to make sure it's either is coming from a source that is really, really highly trusted, or it's got to be court documents. And what I say by a source that's highly trusted is somebody involved comes to me, say Aaron McIntosh, and I talk to Aaron, and he says all this about George Christie. Well, Aaron went to prison, was a member of Ventura that was caught up in that whole thing with Mike Lynch and George Christie and Rob from Ventura and all of that, right? All of these guys. I'm going to listen to Aaron McIntosh when he talks because he's the one who did all that time, you know, and and I'm, he's earned it. So beer is like the sun. It rises in the east and sets in the west. Poetic. Is that a haiku? Odin, salute to you. What's up, Sean Whalen, all the way from Ireland? Been rocking with me for a long time. I appreciate you, Sean. It's good to see you. I figured I would start doing a little bit earlier in the day, free up the rest of my day. I have like midday where I'm not so busy with my normal life, you know. Plus, not for nothing, I've been waiting in the septic tank of YouTube a lot lately, and that's my own fault. That's me falling off of my own game, just watching some craziness go down on YouTube with just a insane cartoon character of a person, and I can't. It's like watching a train wreck. I can't stop watching. Juhan, I hope not, bro. I hope not. Nick, there's Nick right there. That is his TikTok. If you guys want to go see what I'm talking about, this is kind of where everything started to base itself off of. Now there's going to be a federal investigation or a federal. There's going to be an investigation. I don't know if it'll be on the state or federal level involving some bangers, maybe with the sergeant of the Wilmington Charter, involving him allegedly having a former prospect's wife look things up using her insurance company's software or whatever, computerware. So, state and federal, Nick says, uh, and we always hold off until the paperwork's the paperwork, right? Until it's actually filed in a court. But having a better understanding, talking to people in the background of what everybody's saying is going on versus what the police say, what the courts say, what the DA say, things like that. It'll be it's Wilmington. Listen, it's getting hot. It's getting crazy down there, and it looks like it's falling apart to me. I wouldn't be surprised if they get frozen and just you know told, hey, you got 30 days or whatever to go find a new place, like they did with Wallkill, basically, because Wallkill was collapsing. And if no other charters want to take any of the members in, then they're out, that kind of thing. But we'll see. Uh, it's just all this stuff going on is like, I don't know. It's a lot. It's a lot. The club tends to insulate themselves very well against bad acting charters. So, dude, I have a crazy story about a big in BC years ago. I was in FRCC, and the back and forth politics I saw really opened my eyes to the image versus reality. The image versus reality, and I can only speak on the terms of talking to the men involved in a lot of this, right? I personally, I have prison and prison gang and street gang knowledge. Uh, Grown up my whole life doing all that. But when it comes to the bike clubs, it is, I try to speak more from a convict's perspective almost than a biker's perspective because I've never been a biker, and everybody tries to stand on that and says, "Oh, you know, he's never been in a bike club, so why can he talk about it?" Like, because I just know a bunch of dudes who have, And this is how I'm able to just discern the conversations that I have with these men who have lived this and put it out in a way that the public understands and likes, right? So mm, take that for what it is. If you don't like it, you know, put an egg in your shoe. I don't know what to tell you. What's up, Dan James? 5 points of yeah. All right. Yeah, you need to do what you do best, the investigation videos. You really are great breaking down the story. For us lay people, Josh, the homie hangout, was great at documentation. Josh was the best. I had Josh, and Josh was actually pulling paperwork on some members of the Hells Angels in Northern California for me at the time that his untimely passing. Uh, that's how good he is, that I would go to Josh sometimes and say, Josh, I I know you have, especially in California, particularly Northern California, particularly Stanislaus County, has the ability to pull court documents from Stanislaus County far better than I did, far better. So I miss Josh. I miss talking to Josh. We talked about a lot of stuff, man. Rest in peace, Josh. I miss you, bro. Met some of the signs at the shrine. There you go. You're, you're doing work many people would be jealous about, and you got skills. Thank you, Scotty. You know, I guess my life has built me to be able to like wade through the bullshit. You know, some people do get over on me or attempt to. It's a lot like the thing with Breeze, where it just ran its course. Boom. Cool. You go do your thing. I'm going to go do my thing. Not going to shit on you or anything. I just don't want to be on the ride with you anymore, bro. That kind of thing. But it's given me the ability to try to discern what people are saying and then break it down logically and through the legal aspects of it and say, yeah, that's probable or less likely, or that did happen or didn't, or allegedly or whatever, and then just try to convey it to everybody. So I never joined RC, but I support them as much as I can. A lot of times, and I was just talking to Doc, and being 50 plus years in the club, and I hope Doc doesn't get upset with me for talking about this, but it's nothing damning or anything. You start to miss the riding with your brothers and walking into the clubhouse and saying hello to people and that kind of the life. Not so much the bad parts, but the good parts, right? And so I told Doc, I said, what have you heard about the fellas, Doc? Because he's in Northern Cali. Uh, I said maybe you should go over to the fellas and say hello, because that's a good group of dudes who, you don't have to join the fellas or anything by any means, like nothing like that, but just to have that camaraderie again, right? Because when they take it from you, and this is any club, when they strip it from you, whether just or not, they strip it from you, and everybody is either too scared or I've heard so many times that people that they call out bad, specifically from the Hells Angels, the people that supported them the day before, now when they look at them and they're walking on the street and say hello, these people are a scared to say hello back, and you can see the shame in their eyes, like, I want to say hello but I can't, because that big bad Hells Angels will what pull what you tried to with the fellas, you know like it's a but it's always been like that, I guess, especially when it comes to support clubs. But most of these support clubs don't support, especially that club in that area, any longer. And I've said it a million times. all the clubs are turned on them in the Reading area, the Hells Angels in the Reading area, so much. And there's one club in particular, and it'll end up coming because the Hells Angels don't know how to act right up there, and they're not tough as they portray themselves. They're not like the other charters, right? They're just not. They're not built like that. And they might practice in the cage and all of that, but I mean, they walked into their own COC and got mollywopped by the fellas. After putting out that the fellas were not to be talked to, they were on the shine, basically put them on the shine, and the fellas showed up and boo-bopped them in front of all the other clubs, you know? So they're just not like that. They got ran out of there by the Mongols. Now to be the Vagos. Same difference, you know? And I don't know. I just say it's like this. If there's a member who's a former member and the club calls them out bad, but you know that to be a good person, like Doc, why are you not messing with Doc? You known this dude for this long as you've been in the scene, you've bought patches from Doc, right? Your club has bought patches from Doc. You have relationships with Doc for decades, and all of a sudden you can't talk to the man no more. Man, that's weak. That's weak. Especially, not for nothing, now Heath has taken Doc's old business of making patches over, and he's the one who politic. Heath and Allen are the ones that politic Doc out of the club so they could steal his business of making patches, allegedly. Big Rob Sacto, big shout out to the fellas. What a and the Queens of Chaos. The ones, the righteous clubs that are up there just holding it down, and they're not trying to like, it's not like the fellas are trying to build this huge statewide, worldwide network biker club. They have their area. There's enough of them. They're not going to put up with that bullshit. Get out of here with that. You're not going to talk to me like that. I'm a man type of business. And they're holding their own. They're doing their thing. To where I heard recently that Allen put out a little bounty on their patches. If anybody can get me a fella's patch, man, I'll give you blah blah blah. Yeah. Hey, the check's in the mail because Allen ain't never paid nobody for nothing. Allegedly. So you'll be chasing that dude around for whatever that bounty is for a long time, I promise. And Reading ain't got no money. That charter ain't got no money. Look at the last run that they put up. 30 people showed up all weekend long. They ain't got no money. They ain't got no job. Sorry, I'm just hating on Allen now. Whatever. Shout out Allen. Piece of shit. So how's everybody's weekend been? We got through all that 43 minutes of talking about the club stuff. No pigeons were flying in the screen. Nobody just freaked out. That was pretty good. It might be the most peaceful 43 minutes I've had on this show in a long time. Sorry, something in my eye. Ah, John. Hey, bro. Hey, you know what? And I'm being petty right now. I am. Shout out to Breeze. I wish him all the success in the world. I'm just being petty because he tried to take a shot at me in his last live. You know, and that's fine. I'll take my little shot back. It is what it is. The HA has a bar on Foothill that burned down in Oakland. Really? You know, I heard they were opening up a bar a couple of storefronts down and maybe across the street from Monster, from the Mongols shop, right? Like, that's, listen, just from a business standpoint, you want to open a bar or restaurant or something right down the way from Monster, from the Mongols shop. Monster is a lifetime member. That dude is not to be trifled with. And you want to open up a shop right down the way? That is safe. You better be ready to defend that thing at all times, and vice versa. That's just causing, yeah, yeah. William, yeah, I know. See, there's a lot that goes on in the background I don't really talk about. Maybe I should, but I don't. What's up, J Dog? 420 Life and Reacts. I'm gonna go check your channel out. Let me write that down. Hey, look, I like a motherfucker that reacts to videos and stuff. That's one of the genres of YouTube that I actually watch a lot of. 420 Life and Reacts. Bro, just a little, I don't, you might have a bigger channel than I do. But if you're you know, coming up on YouTube and this advice helps you, might want to shorten that name out a little bit. That is a lot, bro. And that's coming from a guy whose Vegas profile story. It's a lot. You'd be surprised how much it gets on your nerves having to type your own name out a lot. You know who I am? I've been on your channel before. Oh, we met through corrupt. Oh, okay, J Dog. Okay, duh. My bad, bro. Hey, listen, my brain ain't all there, bro. And not for nothing, remembering everybody is it can be hard to do. You know, especially as you get older, stupider, more brain damaged, like me. You know, what's up, Herb Dizzle? Better be a hey, better hey, no lie, John. Uh, and not. I mean, it's not like hey, I see a Mongols have a shop down here. Just a Mongol, right? No, no, you picked the Mongol. You might as well have opened up a shop down the street from Junior Erickson's shop. Same difference, right? I mean, what are you thinking? Mike Munns or something. Like, what are you doing, bro? These are the ones that this ain't gonna end well. This ain't going to end well. That's a bad business plan. Unless you're in it for the insurance and Tuna Law is like gonna represent you in the insurance claim or something, then I could get it. That would make a lot of sense on why Alan is still around. But sorry. Sometimes I just talk what's on my mind. Yeah, that's crazy work. What's up, Yo Mama House? Shout out Monster from the Mongols, by the way. Just even the other teams respect the shit out of Monster. They do not. He is not the one, bro. Listen, I have a copy of the indictment that went down with Doc, right? Monster and Mike Munns' name show up on every other of the charges in the indictment. Basically, the courts, the cops and the agents, the federal agents all claimed that those two were involved in basically every single predicate that they put in there. It was insane. Every charge. You just, every time you see their name, boom, boom, boom. I'm like, Jesus. Either somebody's really hating on them and saying that they were involved in all this, or them dudes was doing it back then. And if you ask the other team, Monster from the Mongols was doing it back then. That dude is not to be trifled with. But shout out to those two Mongol legends, three Mongol legends. Just the right way the whole time, man. Them dudes are they're the real deal. You know, they're a lot like you know, Greg Domi style solid, you know, same different like them dudes. Dom from Dago solid type of shit, or Junior from Richmond was solid until they kicked him out, but that's their business. I don't question anything Richmond does. They had their reasons. I do interviews with music artists and react to music on my show. That's right. There you go. Everybody go check them out. Yeah, I see the OPD. Follow them around with a video recorder. Listen. Yeah. And now, as they're getting older, all of the people that I just named are getting older, and but still, yeah, you don't want to go poking an old wolf. You might get bit bad. And that's basically what they're doing by opening up this restaurant just down the way. It's like, oh, so Monster's over here minding his business, got his shop going, making his legal money, and here you guys come opening up. It'd be like them opening up a tire shop down the street from the Oakland clubhouse or something. What are you doing? That'd be a problem. And it's hey, more power to them. They know what they're doing better than I do, I guess. They know what their big picture is. I'm lost in that big picture when it comes to the Hells Angels. The Mongols have a very clearer, more clear uh, picture, at least from my perspective, where I can see what they're doing, and they're doing it well, and they're doing it on the legal side. They're doing it all the right way for the most part. There are things that happen, Odessa, Florida, things like that. But for the most part, they're keeping it on a very business oriented uh, focus. The Hells Angels, and listen, the tail's wagging the body, and they don't even this charter autonomy, man. There's nobody's holding anybody accountable, and that's why you have Wallkill, Reading, Wilmington, these charters that are just they're not cut from the same cloth as the rest of the club, and it's glaring and it shows, you know, because no other charters are coming in and saying, "Hey, man, what's this? This is not how we get down. Get out of here, beat feet, fool." They're not doing that because they don't want that issue, right? So they're just letting these dudes collapse until there's only three of them, and then they just absorb those three into another charter and shut that charter down. It's wild. The Hells Angels 30 years ago, this would not be happening. Reading would not be happening. Wallkill wouldn't happen, and Wilmington wouldn't be happening. That's a fact. Big Ralph Sacto. Shout out Crash. Is Crash in here? Is it the Crash? I don't see him. Legal money. Good one. Yeah, Damon. I mean, hey, for what it is, look, I'm talking, it's not like it used to be. It used to be all just cook, sell, repeat. You don't have enough cooks? Go snatch one up from the other team. Drag them out to the desert, make them cook. Sell, repeat, right? There's a shipment of this, shipment of that comes in, move it around, make your money off of it, all of that, right? That's what made charters along, say, the I-10 or I-40 or whatever exist, right? Is because that type of money making. But that's not really what it is anymore. It's not like that at all. And that's all the clubs. None of the clubs are making that illegal crazy money anymore. A lot of them, say George Christie, for instance. George Christie put his daughter through law school, is going to, leave a legacy for her, and she has her own ability to generationally change that family's wealth status, and it's only going to rise from that, right? It's only going to get greater. She's going to do more for her kids, who will do more for their kids. The Christie family will end up being, probably a really great family 2 or 3 generations from now, even greater, right? And I hate saying that because me and old Gus, we just don't get along. But a lot of these bikers, at least the older ones, some of them have brought their sons into the club, or their sons just inevitably came into the club. But a lot of them have built businesses, generationally been able to change their family's outlook, right? And so they don't need to do all this nefarious shit anymore. They don't need to cook, sell, repeat anymore, because the penalty is outrageous. You're going away for life. And why, when you can make the same amount of money selling t-shirts and stickers to suckers at Sturgis? And that's really what it boils down to. Yeah. Fishing 748, I fight you. Oh, well, hey, man. Get in line. Get in line, bro. I've been beat up by way bigger pussies than you fishing. Reading about change, big things coming. Big Rob Sacto, that's a fact. And I'm just sitting on it. Just going to keep sitting on it. But until it's time for me to be able to talk about it. But Reading is most definitely, they're over there pounding their chest, and I saw them. They said, "Oh, what happened to the Mongols in Reading?" Not you, Alan or Kevin or any of you who were hidden up in the clubhouse or the trailers at the clubhouse, the campers at the or somebody else's house running up their bills. You went out there running the Mongols off. Their own inner beef caught up to them. But that don't even mean that they're shut down in that area. It just means shit slowed down in that area for them. But you forgot one very, very key ingredient in that area. So good luck to you guys beating on your chest like you did something. You didn't do nothing. Wonder how much Red and White takes in selling merch at Sturgis. So this was, Pee Wee's been out of the club for something like 15 years, right? His last run to Sturgis, when I was talking about it with him, he said they owed him, and his cut was 3 ways, right? I think the club gets a third, George got a third, George from Lowell, and Pee Wee got a third. I believe is how it broke down. I'll have to ask Pee Wee personally again whenever I talk to him again, if I'm correct in this math. And his cut was $70,000 for the week of Sturgis that they ripped him off for. Plus all of the shirts that he fronted and made and put up there himself. So all of that stock plus $70,000 that they owed him for the sales, 3 ways. That's $300,000 from one setup. Or $200,000, $210,000 for one setup, for one place that sells t-shirts. Now you multiply that by every charter who has their own going on. I mean, if they're all making 100, 200, maybe more, who knows? Laconia, I'm sure they kill it. And Laconia, they just line up the tents. You'll have New Rock, Salem, all of the charters, Troy, all of them. They all set up and they all sell their own specific t-shirts and designs. Basically, like New Rock's design is the flaming death head, right? And they're the only ones that have that, as far as I know. So if you want to get that flaming skull, or Sonoma, theirs has a zipper across his mouth, or his mouth is sewn shut. They all have a different death head, but it's similar but different, right? Their own little spin on it, which is cool. It's super cool. And when it comes to branding, it is amazing. When it comes to them making money, it's amazing. And they all have their different logos, their different mantras and mottos that come from each charter also, right? So they do a lot when it comes to sales, and it's all completely legal. The problem is they just dirtbag each other for the business every 5 to 10 years. It's like Doc. You'll be noticing, I believe, a difference in how the red reacts to the sun on the newer members from the Hells Angels here shortly. Because now that Heath has taken that over, Heath doesn't know the formula to Hells Angel Red. Doc does. So good job, guys. Way to go. Now you're going to be rocking pinkies again because you kicked the man who made all of that for you and invented Hells Angels Red. You decided to kick him out because a new member's mom came over and kissed him when you brought her there drunk or something. You know, it's weird. It's weird. But I hope it works out for you. Riverlander, hey, thank you for that $5. I really appreciate that, bro. I really do. So, you know, they might have an issue with that red staying red as long as crisp, especially the members who are riding a lot out in the sun a lot, the newer members, because the patches that Doc had on standby and things like that, those are all going. You know, as more members come in and leave, those are all being handed out, and Doc's stock is basically out there right now. And now Heath has to take over and try to copy something that Doc took decades to perfect, and Heath has no idea how he did it. And I'm not going to be a part of letting him know how to do it either. That's what you get for kicking that member out like that. Shout out to Doc. Made your bed. There's a member overseas that makes the patches too. Iced Out Rolly. Yeah. There are members. There are select members. They all have like the digitized software, all of this, right? To be able to make the patches on these elaborate machines. They're as big as a garage, right? They're huge. Um, but Doc is the gatekeeper to Hell's Angels Red. And in America, or at least on the West Coast, Heath is the one who was the president of Doc's charter, found a really stupid way to try to, or not to try, to kick Doc out of the club and put him out in bad so that he could allegedly steal Doc's business making patches. But there are things that Doc knew, and things that Doc had invented in this process that Heath had no idea how to do. That's why it's taken Heath years to even open up doing this, right? He didn't do it immediately after Doc was out. It took Heath years just to get the digitizing down, just to get everything down for this sewing machine to make this patch. It took him years to figure that out, right? He didn't get that. Doc didn't give that to him on the way out. And Hell's Angels Red still is something it's going to take Heath decades to figure out, or whatever member kicks Heath out when they want to be the new patch maker. So one of the best biker storytellers. Thank you, Pops, and I enjoy it. Thank you, Mountain Woman. I appreciate that. I remember sometimes it was quicker to go through him rather than Doc. He would get backed up. It would take months to get patches sometimes. Iced Out Rolly, for sure. But Doc was also not just doing Hell's Angels patches. He was doing all of the clubs in that area, their patches too. Riding clubs, motorcycle clubs, some 1% clubs. He was making all of those. And, you know, Heath, I don't know, more power to him. More power to him. But just remember, Heath, karma is real. And not for nothing, Heath took a gang enhancement plea deal. He pled guilty to a gang enhancement, and everybody overlooks it. It's the craziest thing. I don't understand how it's possible. You're not allowed to take a gang enhancement on a plea deal when you plead guilty to something, and he did. And I have the paperwork. So just it doesn't make sense how Heath up in Sac can do that in Highlands. I don't understand it. But maybe it's because nobody wants to start making patches. Nobody wants to stop making patches, really. So he has them in this wash right now. Heath does, where the Hells Angels can't kick Heath out right now because nobody knows how to do what he's spent the last years trying to learn how to do. 4 years, I think Doc has been out of the club now. And it took Doc decades to perfect. So who's going to come in and try to figure that out? It would backstock every patch for the Hells Angels for at least a year, year and a half, which they probably should do. Start slowing down on who you're bringing in because it's not working out that well. Maybe they got, like I said, I don't know the picture. I don't know what they've laid out for the powers that be in that club that say this is the way it is. I just know that it's completely different from what it was. And you look at these members that are so solid. You got to almost look at members now in the Hells Angels and say, could that man have been a member of New York 3rd Street in the 80s? Right? And if the answer is no, he shouldn't be a Hells Angel. But instead, they just, power in numbers, trying to claw to keep certain hot spots. And there's only 3 that I can tell. 3 charters. One of them got shut down in Wallkill. Wilmington and Reading, both they're not Hells Angels, man. Even Allen, who's been around there for a long time, been scheming on people for a long time, that dude ain't a hell. He's just not. He's just not. When they got so in their butt about the internet guy talking about them that they decided they were going to clap back at me on the internet. What are you doing, bro? I'm a dork on the internet, homie, and you're over here clapping back at me. That's lame activity, bro. Who the fuck am I for you to talk to me at all? Right? There's a little truth for you. Yeah. Over here, getting all up in your feelings because I'm spitting some truth about you and your lame activities. Odin says, ending the duel destroyed humanity and made intelligent traits frowned upon in society, determined to prove the intelligent life exists. Odin. That's the comment of the day. That's the comment of the month right there. It really is true. Mike 512, thank you. Keep up the good content rather than begging for money. Mike, I appreciate that. And it's never been my get down. Anytime somebody sends me something, it absolutely helps me, whether it's Cash App or Super Chats and all that. But I've just never been that dude to ask like that. But I do appreciate it a lot. I do. It is true, Odin. It is. If the consequences were so dire that you had to go out there and walk paces, people would be less likely to act a fool, And I mean, I could say that for myself too. Let's be real about this. Would I be on the internet doing this if the internet was around in this capacity in the say 1980 to 1995, that 15-year range? If we had this type of internet capacity back then, would I be doing this? Fuck no. Hell no. Not a chance. And I don't even consider what I do to be bad or even anti Hells Angels or anti any club, right? I just kind of get up here, lay out what's going on, try to put some common street sense to it, and talk about the elephant in the room sometimes. And when I go after certain members or sometimes charters, 3 times total, it's been charters, you should probably take notice of that if you're Hells Angels and go, fuck, dude. As much as you hate hearing me talk about it, you got to admit there's stone cold street logic to what I'm saying when it comes to these guys and how they're acting and what they're doing. It's fuck shit. And I'm just talking about the fuck shit. Ah, Terminator. All right. No, I would be too young. Okay. If I was a 46-year-old man in that time frame, would I be doing this? Probably not. Because the Hells Angels were a different beast back then. But this is an internet day and age. This is an information day and age, a camera day and age. Like, I understand they can't move the way that they used to, and that's all clubs. Some clubs just don't care. Take the Mongols Warlocks issue down in Florida. They got down where they were mad at. They didn't give a shit who saw it. They handled their business. And the Hells Angels, they're just they've gone to, I have heard from multiple different charters. Once I've heard from a club in Bakersfield that they were told, if the Mongols come and go after you, lay down, let them beat you basically, and they'll be arrested and RICO'd for it. They were told this by a member of the Hells Angels, allegedly. And I've heard this from the Wilmington prospect also, where he was told, if you're riding home, because he lived farther away, don't stop anywhere with your cut on, take your cut off, ride. Like, who tells people that? What sergeant at arms in a room is going to tell somebody? And the Bakersfield wasn't the sergeant at arms. I'll make that clear, but the Wilmington was, right? Who tells somebody who is a support club or a prospect, basically lay down and let yourself get beat up so that it doesn't look bad on us and they'll get charged and go away? That is conduct unbecoming, needs to be a higher standard, Herb Dizzle says. In something like this, yeah. At no point, why do you have supporters? Why are you doing this? That is just the essence of 1%, is not lay down and let somebody kick you until the cops come and arrest them. Like, what man wants to do that? The fellas know how to act. If we're not going to go looking for trouble, but if we need to, we'll handle it, right? One time they did, well, they didn't go looking for trouble. They showed up where trouble might come to. And, it's like, it's not a good look. And the truth is, where would I be without Reading and Wilmington right now? Let this shit keep going because I get to talk about it, make money on it, whatever, right? But you take those two charters out of the mix. I mean, I have a lot of other stuff I talk about in the background, a lot of other stuff that will be coming to light, but right now this is the two just on their neck. They're faulty, and they continue to do stupid stuff to make themselves look even worse. And one of them, not for nothing, might have had a cop as an officer in their charter. At least this is what is being alleged by this guy, who says that's the man who was a member of the task force that raided the trap house I was in a couple of months ago. I know his face. That's him. That's crazy. What's up, Kel? Good to see you, brother. Some crazy shit happening in Canada. Listen, it's only going to get wilder too. And so there's a few theories, right? I went through them earlier. One is, when you're moving weight, that it's been alleged in the media that Hells Angels have been tied to the weight that was seized at that warehouse or storage unit or whatever it was, like a month or two ago, a couple months ago maybe. You're going to owe on that if you're holding it and get caught with it, and it's on front basically. You can't consign that much weight and get caught with it. You're going to pay. Maybe your VP comes up missing. Another one is, they have been going to war with the Italians, with what was the Blood Family gang, I think, and factions like that in the area. Another one is Harley made sure that he was on video body cam talking to the cops when this guy came up missing, which is fucking. If Harley wasn't involved, it is awful timing and hilarious timing at the same time. Not saying that it's a joking matter because a man is missing and somebody tried to scorch his house that same night, uh, and that's not a laughing matter at all. But just if Harley had nothing to do with it and the gods lining up for him to be on camera talking to cops the exact moment this guy goes missing is unbelievably coincidental. And and the gods have jokes for Harley, obviously, if that's how that went. And Fuzzy Swamp, the cop is your wife. Oh, hmm. Shit's always crazy in Canada. It really is. Uh, they hold it to a different standard, and I should clarify more. When I'm talking about Hells Angels, I'm just talking about specific charters of the Hells Angels or specific areas that aren't cleaning those charters out. Because, listen, say you are an East Coast Sergeant or West Coast Sergeant for the Hells Angels. If you look at a charter and you go, not one of them dudes could be in my charter with me, bro, they're probably faulty as hell. Why would you even allow that to be around? They're the ones that are making the club look bad. And it's not like it's all of, say, Wilmington. Isn't Fayetteville just got off? Them dudes just did handle their business. You can't say nothing bad about Fayetteville, but Wilmington is a completely just opposite look than Fayetteville. It's crazy. Intelligence isn't the only thing that's artificial or fake. No, personalities, all types of shit. People are fake. People are fake. That's the one thing at least I stand on. How I am here, that's how I am. This is me. It's who I am in real life. And everybody I've met since I started doing this, they all say that to me. They're like, Jesus, you're exactly the same. It's like being in the studio with you, you know, because I'm just me. But he's coming. Stay cool. Adios, John, for sure. For sure. It's going to boil over for sure. What's up, Wadle? The deep state, Odin, yeah, Odin. We'd probably have a great conversation about some crazy stuff, bro. I have working theories about everything. A lot of times, they come to fruition, and a lot of times I'm way off. Usually, when it comes to like government stuff, conspiracies, or things like that, it's like I missed the mark on that one. But when it comes to like real life stuff or my gut feelings about things, a better percentage of time, I am pretty spot on with my assessments of people's actions or charters actions or this or that, right? That goes on in the club world. Uh, and inevitably somebody will always hang on the one detail that I get wrong here or there, which is going to happen. But you wouldn't hear about a lot of these stories at all if you didn't hear them here, right? Because nobody else has the information. Some things are going to be, I'm taking, I'm trying to decipher court or police documents, right? And I have to think the spin that they're putting on it, the hot sauce that the cops and the courts are putting on it, because they always do, right? Or I'm taking firsthand experiences and I'm trying to also wade through the probability of what they're telling me, like their details, because inevitably everybody skews the details. Nobody's going to be 100% honest with you when they're talking to you, especially about things like this, right? They're going to leave out the little things that might make them look bad. Me personally, I prescribe to the method of, yeah, I've been a scumbag and a great guy in my life. I've done all of that. I don't care what people think about me. I've done everything bad and everything good that is at least considered stand up on both sides. You know what I'm saying? So I wish more people were like that, more accountability, but even when it comes to Nick, and I talked to Nick, I got no issues or reason to feel like Nick is leading me on in things. Uh, who is the ex prospect from Wilmington, and I'll talk to him after this. Uh, even with him, I'm sure that there are little details in his version of everything that's gone down that are a little skewed or a little twisted to fit his overall picture or narrative of what he's trying to convey to me, right? And you have to take things for what they are, right? And run probabilities in your head. Is what he's saying probable? Is it plausible, right? Does it sound realistic? And then if the answer is yes, you continue to listen, or you dig deep, you stop them and ask more questions. How it viewed when a black guy supports the 81 for real? The 81 have been laxing when it comes to that rule. Uh, and if you look at Sonny and the East Bay Dragons, they had an amazing relationship. Amazing. They partied at each other's clubhouses all the time. And I've never heard of any issues between those two clubs. And we were talking decades and decades and decades, almost half a century. Those clubs have been partying side by side, you know? So I don't, it's a different day and time. It doesn't really, the funk don't go down like that anymore. And the Hells Angels are slowly becoming known more, at least in the streets, as a multi-ethnic motorcycle club, which they are. You know, there aren't many clubs out there that can stand on that, right? But if you have multiple ethnicities in your motorcycle club, you should probably not have any insignia that are known just immediately as being from the white movement, right? Like you should probably just go ahead and retire that because it's weird to have. Although you could make a case for, say, the Confederate flag, the rebel flag, right? I've seen that on chosen few members, and to specific different people, it means different things. If you are from the South, lived in the South, it is a pride thing. If you are from a liberal area or something like that in the country, you look at it as it is a symbol of, oppression. So you have to be when you're worldwide. SoCal cycle, yeah. So you do, and I'm not making a case for them doing anything wrong by having people of different uh, racial backgrounds in their club. They should, right? I'll go back to the the Asian members of the California Nomads are absolutely what you're looking for as for club brothers, right? They are fierce. They are about that life. They are living that life. They are Hell's Angels all the way. Now, there are people who say, oh, well, they're Asians or they were allegedly members of Asian Boy Crips before or whatever, right? Even me. In prison, that's an issue. On the streets, those dudes get down. They are exactly what you're looking for. And it is a contradiction to have patches and be about that life on paper, basically, but not. You know, it's I don't know, man. What about Japan charter? Japan charter. I've been watching a lot of the Asian Hells Angels charters, right? There are some that they've run around like they are just mafioso, right? They're driving like Bugattis and all of them got the gel in the hair and probably $5,000 shoes and suits and stuff on, and they're really like putting on basically when they show up at a hotel for the party or whatever it is, right? They throw hella good parties too, not for nothing. But Japan, I've been seeing, it seems to me like some of, not all, the Japanese Hells Angels members embrace the grungy biker, chopper, ape hangers, feet up, just they seem to me like Hell's Angels, like throwbacks, some of them to the old Hell's Angels. And shout out to them. If it was a problem, the Hells Angels never would have opened up a Japanese charter. But there's a member, is it South Africa, maybe, that is alleged to be of African American or African descent, not African American. Um, there is a member in, I believe, England or one of those European countries that is also alleged to be of the same blood type. I don't. It's hard to get around YouTube talking about stuff like this, but you know, you got Knuckles, who was asked, and they were gonna like DNA test or did DNA test Knuckles out of like New Jersey, who is no longer with the club, who was a bruiser. The dude got down everywhere. He was a brawler. Uh, you have God, what's his name from Canada? I can't think of his name right now, but Mabuche's basically best friend, and the whole issue with him and Dago and shit like that. Like, it's one of those. I don't know, man. It's their club to make their decisions, right? Now, when they go to prison, it causes issues, and that's where it's coming. South America has a few, yeah. Mexico has charters uh, that were opened by the Merced president, basically opened Mexico, uh, and Doc opened Canada, and Canada has been going ever since. And anybody, that's another thing. George, old Gus, if you're watching, Sonny didn't open up Canada. He might have had the idea, but he didn't open up Canada. Everybody who was a part of the original Canadian Hells Angels charter prospected under Doc from Lowell. And it's like everybody has forgotten that when it comes to keeping the history of the club. So everybody should flood George's comments actually and ask him to tell his version of Doc from Lowell, Massachusetts, being the sponsor for the entire charter of the first charter for the Hells Angels in Canada. Because that needs to be, it's being written out of history by these historians, i.e., Gus or Sonny or people close to Gus or Sonny, and they just totally write out Doc and his whole contribution to that, and that needs to be rectified. Not a bad cup. Home of the greatest story never told. We'll see the truth. Yeah. Black Panther world will be great, safe, and sustainable. Hmm. Sustainability is a crazy concept when it comes to the planet, period, right? And everybody can say humans are leaching the minerals and all the precious metals, and we're just stripping the earth basically of all this, right? And it's true, but not to the level of eh, like changing atmosphere rotation, things like that. And yeah, the guy who created the aerosol can did harm the ozone, but it's patching itself and fixing itself. um and the whole temperature of the earth debate, and that's what the earth does. It gets cold, it goes into the ice age. There have been many, many ice ages over the lifespan of earth, and then it warms back up, life thrives until the next either catastrophic uh you know space event happens, like a meteor or whatever, or everything freezes over and almost all of life on Earth is squeezed into one small area that can sustain life for long enough to make it through until the ice backs off again. So, sustainable, I don't know. The world's population isn't so out of control. Like, literally, you could fit everybody from India in Texas. Not comfortably, but period. And India's got one of the largest populations in the world. So, you know, it's there's plenty of land, plenty of resource. It's just we have to have the ability to provide that resource or have that land. And somewhere along the way, we have tripped up and allowed people, whether elected or not, to tell us when we can and cannot have that, and when we what we can plant. And then we've let companies come in and tax us on the seeds that we lay on that land and be able to sue us if they go and they find that we have planted their seeds and not paid them a royalty on it. Again, this is stuff that should not be. Food should never be something that is everybody has to pay on, right? It's not right because it's from the land. But that's a different story for a different time, I guess. Rocky Strong, what's up? And it was just a contradiction to say, yeah, but clearly function together. That's true. Daniel says, man, forget India. Yeah, yeah. I mean, listen, I got no skin in the game when it comes to any of those. I don't know nobody from over there. And if I did, not my problem what goes on anyway, right? I worry about me and mine. I have learned long, well, not long ago. I've recently been humbled to the point where I know my own little ecosystem matters more than anything else out there. And I just take care of what matters to me on that day, right? And the people around me, people that I love, not even the people around me, because a lot of you, well, not a lot of you, I don't go around people very much anymore, but the ones that are around me, no, I'm terrible at answering my phone. I'm terrible at texting you back. I'm terrible at getting back at you at messages, and it's not because I don't want to talk to you. A lot of times it's I can't. I just don't have the energy to sustain a full conversation at that time. I don't. I'm burnt. Shouldn't keep gold or silver in a glass house. Hmm, okay. Door's not locked unless you have a double cylinder deadbolt in your home with the key turned halfway from the inside. Well, Odin, I mean, also, when you have keys to the city or bad hinges, no door is truly locked. There's a there's a little philosophy for you. No door is truly ever locked. Somebody can get in that damn thing for sure. All right. Up north bullies, huh? Let's go Blue Jays. I can't even hate on that. I can't. You know, I remember when it was the Expos and Blue Jays up there, right? Now the Expos became the Nationals or whatever years ago in Washington. Uh, that was like the heyday of me watching baseball because I was playing baseball as a kid, you know. So when you play a sport, you watch a sport. And the Blue Jays, hey, they're doing good. If you can drive a truck through it, or you ain't lying. Or if Kern County shows up with the Bearcat, ain't no door safe. Them dudes are wild. Iced Out Rolly says Red Sox. I got no problem. I got no beef with the Red Sox, but I liked the Red Sox team that was like just the juicers, bro. The real juicers. When you had like Canseco, uh, Clemens, right? Just the gnarly juicers, bro. They were clearly Johnny Damon, all them. Yeah, that was a good Red Sox. If you can dodge a wrench, Rocky, you ain't lying, bro. You ain't lying. Yeah, that was badass back then. Ice Out Rolly. I have locks for the bad people because my dogs don't get you. We got nasty deterrents, so to speak. Kel, that's I lived that life to the fullest. I've just added a new addition to my home when it comes to the alligator herd, you know, because you can't have enough of them, and they are just built to get, yeah. They're just waiting to hear the word come out of your mouth, or just somebody come knock on the door. Boy, the mailman hates to deliver mail to my house. Sometimes I think they're going to go through my front window, and one day they might. That's how crazy that breed is. But then if you get past them, well, there are other deterrents. Pedro was hard. Pedro was hard. Remember when he put what's his name? Zimmer, was it Zimmer? Yeah. Put him in a headlock, started. No, he just threw him. That's what happened. Don Zimmer ran through bull rushed him. Yeah, Don Zimmer bull rushed him, and Pedro just laid his ass and threw his fat old ass on the ground. It was crazy. He was like, wow. See you later, old man, just tumbling down. Yeah. Pedro wasn't nothing to play with, bro. And he was a hell of a pitcher, too. He has some nasty, nasty stuff. Nolan Ryan was Robin Ventura. Yeah. Oh, Robin Ventura ran out there like he was going to get it. And Nolan Ryan said, get over it. Wham, wham, just started feeding them to him. I'm like, and Nolan Ryan was older at the time, too. It wasn't like young Nolan Ryan. It was old man Nolan Ryan said, get over here, youngster, and just started boo-bopping that fool. I was like, oh, my God. This is awesome. Oh, Rocky says, I seen a dude take a spill down the dugout steps the other day. Listen, that can get ugly. And when you're wearing cleats, at least, and I never played at like a high level of any sport, but I was good enough to like be a starter growing up in some different sports. And when I played baseball, boy, you get out there, sunflower seeds everywhere, and you got the spikes on, go sliding down. I can't tell you how many of us tumbled down those stairs. That's like a rite of passage, and hope your tailbone makes it. Freddie Freeman. Oh, I think Iced Out Rolly said, yeah. Oh, he got messed up. Freddie Freeman's a hell of a player, too. That sucks. That super sucks. RSP says, I played single A. Listen, if you've never been to a like a single A, double A, triple A baseball game, you're missing out. I have seen in the bullpen, which was all the way down the third base line, you know, pass home run territory is the bullpen at like a AAA game. It was in Phoenix, I think. All of a sudden, you hear Don Cedena or whatever from the Lion King, right? And we all look. I mean, it was to the top of his lungs, yelling from all the way out there. We all look out there, and they got another pitcher on a chair, raising him up like he's Simba. Bro, it was the most hilarious thing in the middle of the game. Them AAA games, they get crazy. They're fun. Don't come into second, cleats up, my boy. Hey, I mean Ty Cobb. Ty Cobb used to. He had no problem. He'd sharpen them up too. Come in with that leg way high, stick you, and then fight you. Bing, bing, bing. Like, what the hell, Ty? That's what we get up, and if you're still looking at him after he stuck you in the leg with his spikes, his sharpened spikes, he would just fire on you. Ty Cobb was, and then he'd light a cigarette. That dude was wild. Sippy, I'm live right now. Bang some fives on the road, though. There it is. There it is. Hey, they got their own little network too. Like with the motorcycle clubs, they got the Patch Bunnies. Listen, those semi-pro baseball teams have got their own little bunnies. They made a whole movie on it with Kevin Costner, didn't they? I think. Hey, we got to get ours. You ain't lying. Hey, I'm not mad at it. Listen, my record is not clean when it comes to the fives. All right. I have a lot of violations in my life over the span of my life when it comes to fives and sixes. All right. Not even gonna lie. We like to that's a comfort zone right there. Maybe they'll cook for you afterwards too. Might get you breakfast. Allegedly. No shame in that's for sure. I ain't RSP. Hey, I don't know who you are, but you're cool as shit, bro. He said, ain't no shame I ain't turning down no fives. They can cook, then send them home in a cab, allegedly. Right. Uber. Miranda, Ty Cobb. But I will say this. It has been years. Well, over a year, year and a half, 2 years since I've been involved in any kind of anything when it comes to women. Because I don't know. I don't know. If they throw me a bad vibe or I feel like maybe, you know, I inevitably in my mind I just think people are stringing me along all the time in life, so I just don't trust people anymore. There are people that have come along that have real promise, and for my own reasons I just kind of backed off. It's just me. I just don't talk to women anymore. I just don't. It just for my own sanity. Maybe one day, yeah, but I I don't know. I'm fine being alone. I'm fine living alone. I get to see my daughter all the time. I'm fine in my life. It's very simple, and a simple life is a good life when it comes to me, because you guys all saw when I got no responsibility and nothing to worry about. I am out there just a fool. Just I don't care. Catch case, all this shit. Like I just don't even give a shit. And that's not good. That's not good. That's going backwards in life. So, you know, and if I'm feeling froggy, I just go to the septic tank of the internet where all the craziness happens all the time. There's one. I just don't want to say his name on here because I don't want to give him no shine, but there's one idiot out there in particular. It's just a wild man. Just insane. A Flames Trotter style wild man. And I heard Flames Trotter's out, by the way, of jail. I hope you're doing good. I got nothing against you. You know, like the internet's just the internet. People come after you all the time. Mike D, See, Mike D knows because he's over there waiting in that same septic tank with me. And Mike D, I haven't seen you in a minute. I love you though, bro. Like all love in the world. But if you notice, still got a wrench on here. People that I wrench up on my channel, I haven't seen Sean, Kel in a minute. Y'all all still got wrenches. I'm loyal to my wrenches. Hell yeah. Dip my stick. RSP. We're talking threes and fours now. Yeah, but it's good to see you in here, Mike. Yeah, definitely. Mike knows exactly what I'm talking about. Herb knows exactly what I'm talking about. There is, and it's all something I want to do, like a real documentary on. Like I'm hoping, like a Netflix documentary, like actual Netflix. Just depends on how it all turns out. But it's a crazy, crazy story, and this dude is just as insane and unhinged as they come. And not for nothing, I went in there trying to take up for the guy. Had the whole other side of things turned on me. And they're like, you just don't know what you're talking about, VPS. You need to actually sit back and watch before you speak. And you know me, I'm just like, yeah, whatever. Until I actually sat back and watched, and just this dude turned, and everything they were saying was like, yeah, he's really like that. This dude is wild. Oh, Mike, it's gonna be like a Joe Exotic, Tiger King style documentary when it finally, comes to fruition. Whatever happens in that whole case. Uh, you know, Once there's some closure to it, that's what I will be doing, is that I'm gonna fly out to each and every one of their states, meet them somewhere in a park, in a hotel. I don't give a shit, bro. A conference room, and at delis, wherever, and interview each person that's involved in this crazy Tiger King style story, man. It's wild. You guys, it'll be good. It'll be good. I miss the brotherhood, which is part of what draws me to MC culture, RSP says. If you get around the right MC, man, there are some really good ones, the fellas. And if you get around the wrong ones, or the ones that answer to the wrong ones, the stupid politics go deep in the MC world. So I think that's what the turnoff is to it all. Is it's okay to be in a club full of people that are dirtbagging the world. There's nothing wrong with that, right? That's kind of what the biker life is. It's when you start dirtbagging each other so just blatantly that guys like me end up talking about it on the internet, or you go to war in public with each other. uh that's when if you notice, I'm not out there talking about every single event that happens in the motorcycle club world. It's just, I'm not the news. uh Leave it to Willy Lop Lop. He can talk about all that. I'm just talking about the cases that interest me. Oh, Gary Graves. No, sir. Bad. Bad. Still got that tight knit family vibe. For sure. For sure. And that's what you're looking for. And everything, inevitably, everything falls apart, or falls apart so badly that it either goes away or it has to be resurrected. It happened to the Mongols, right? And they learned from it. It's happening right now, live in front of our eyes, to the Hells Angels. They are falling from grace as we watch live. And take my assessment of it for what it is. I don't know the entire picture or details of everything going on, but if you get rid of the bullshit, no matter how small you have to shrink to do it, you have only the solid, real solid charters, the Salems and Richmonds and Dagos, and you build back up from that. You're going to have a way stronger club and image to the American public, at least. But instead, they're just holding on to these lops that are just turning them left and right and making them look bad. Keep the politics. Yeah, yeah. Just like our, yeah, Mike. Yeah, it is. It is. But there's a lot shaking up when it comes to our country too. Uh, on like a national level, there's look at the left has completely kind of split in two almost, and you have the moderates of the left that are still staying on the course for what they believe in and their beliefs, but they're saying, hey, these far left, they're out there, we got to split off, but they can't because they need the money and they need the votes together, because if those two split, then the right takes everything, and that's kind of what I see happening right now. So new second chance only gets worse. RSP said release those files. I'm with you on that. I am with you on that. They need to. A great replacement is happening. That's a good, I like that. I like that, Daniel. That's a perfect way to put that. The great replacement. And that's what it is. And it should be, you know. Uh there's listen, nobody should ever be a career politician or any, no. You hold too much power. They actually have apps now that you can mirror Nancy Pelosi's stock trading without having to do anything. They do it for you. They just mirror hers. Like, why does she have all this knowledge, but Martha Stewart goes to prison because somebody who owned a company said, "Hey, you own a lot of stock in our company, and our company's about to lose a lot," and gave her the heads up. And because she took that tip, removed her money off of that stock before it collapsed, she went to prison. But Nancy Pelosi, career politician, started with nothing and has over $100 million in her bank account now, all from stock trading. Is beyond me. Maybe she's just that good at it. But you would think it would take all day. Stock traders don't even trade with that level of accuracy, but somehow she does. She's a straight up gangster. Listen, I won't take nothing from the lady when it comes to that. She stands on her business. She does some weird stuff every now and then, but they all do. Uh, and then her husband, not for nothing, that whole thing that went down where, the cops showed up and he's there with a guy who's in his underwear smacking him with a hammer. I'm just gonna say, bro, I've never ran down on somebody with anything to get at him with and take him, strip my clothes off before I did it. It's a weird situation, but that's politicians for you. Yeah, we just seen enrich themselves more than any American family. That's a fact. That's a fact, Mike D. And listen. What do you expect when you put a billionaire businessman with all the ego in the world, almost that New York swag, that mafioso swag to him, and you put him in charge of the country? Bro, you think every move he makes isn't business related? Of course it is. What he's doing right now halfway across the world, it's all business related. It's all going to help his bottom dollar. And I mean, I would too. I would too. That's why I'm not a politician, because if I was, I would enrich myself through being a politician on a huge scale the way that they do. Some comedian said it, or somebody said it. They should make politicians wear like NASCAR. Basically, whoever's sponsoring you, you should have to wear a patch on your on your outfit, so we all know who's in your pocket or whose pocket you're in, basically. And I'm with that. I'm with that. If you have ownership in stock in X company, you should. You should definitely. That should be widely transparent to the American public. We should all see it. We should all know what it is. And then I think we would all be okay with it too. I know I would. I have a very realistic mindset. All you got to do is tell me the truth and I'll process it and I'll understand it. You know, it is what it is. But it's when people lie to you or say they're not doing something for a specific reason, passing a law for a specific reason that or pushing agendas for a specific reason. If it's a monetary reason, now you're stepping outside of what we want you there for, because now you're just enriching your family and the American public comes second or last, and that's not good. Yeah, RSP, they are protecting, and I mean, I shudder to even think of the real debauchery that went on in that whole case. And the crazy thing is, we're not even really allowed to talk about it on YouTube. Exactly what the problems are. Yeah, yeah, I agree. RSP has been really good to this conversation for sure. Good watches have capacitors, not batteries, unfortunately. Oh, the lithium. Yeah, listen, that whole thing is, but that's rare earth minerals and metals are. Think about it like this. You see what's going on when it comes to lithium ion batteries, right? And how that is being mined in Africa. And it's awful, right? 250 years on American soil, we've been here as Americans or our ancestors. Coal mines become a thing, coal becomes a thing. How many men, have gone to the upper room working in coal mines in America? So in the beginning, it's always going to be a process. It's when you let gangsters run the show like they do over there. Dominic, salute to you. And, if they had a streamlined, law abiding process for how they're doing all of this, I mean, we're always going to pull stuff out of the ground. It's a part of what we do. But that's enough for today, I think, guys. Thank you for coming to Vegas Profile Stories. I appreciate each and every one of you. I hope you guys have an amazing day, and we'll see you next time. And thank you to everybody who donated or super chatted. I appreciate that.